Hello, you dirty potters. How are you today? That's right, it's time for another Glaze review. In today's Glaze review, we're going to be talking about Satin Oribe from Amaco. It is pc-15, the PC stands for Potter's Choice, so this Satin Oribe is from the Potter's Choice line. Before we get started, I want to give a shout out to Amaco. They're actually a sponsor of today's video, and they're the reason why I have so many Amaco glazes to test for you potters on screen. For those of you who are new to the Glaze review playlist, let me explain how it works real quick. I pick a glaze off the shelf that you would usually buy in stores, and I test it for you before you buy it. I test it on some white clay, I test it on some brown clay, and sometimes I take a little bit extra and just test it on like random pieces of work that I have laying around the studio and mix it with some other glazes to see if they're friendly with some other stuff. I'm sure someone in the comments below understands exactly what this symbol means, especially if you're a little weeaboo like I am, but we have to make this green, right? Like there's no other choice. Amaco Potter's Choice glazes are pretty consistent with their melt, which I find impressive, because usually like a Celadon glaze is just a clear version of a color that you find, right? But with the Potter's Choice glazes, you usually get a nice melt of sorts. So we're gonna see how consistent this glaze is today by testing it on some white clay, some brown clay, and I think you guys know that I like to double test stuff on porcelain clay just to make sure it's consistent. Like there's nothing worse than getting a glaze that's not completely consistent, because if I glaze this bowl, right, and then I glaze this bowl and I get two completely different colors, I'm gonna type a strongly worded email. No, I'm not. I'm sorry. I love you, Amaco. Please keep sponsoring me. All right, with all of that in mind, let's get started glazing these two bowls.
Seeing you, son.
Okay, now that we've glazed everything, let's go over everything that we have glazed so we can get a good feel for what we're going into the kiln with. These two bowls right here are a standard B mix with no grog clay body. This will pretty much serve as our porcelain test styles, because I do have porcelain, but also B mix with no grog works just as well. This was the cup with the symbol on it, but you can no longer see the symbol. I'm actually fairly interested in seeing where the symbol shows up, or if it shows up at all, simply because I want to see if this is clear enough to make sure that I can see any symbols that I put on my product at a later date. So that way I know, like, oh, I can use this. It'll show through for some underglaze. But if it doesn't show through because the symbol was made with underglaze, then I kind of know, like, oh, okay, I can't really do that with this glaze. So I'm really interested in this one. And this one here is the obsidian clay with the glaze on the inside and a little bit on the outside. This will be the contact point for most people who are drinking. I really don't know how else you would drink out of a cup. Like what, you gonna drink it from the bottom? I don't know. This cup was more of an experiment. Hopefully this one survives. I got an entire batch of like 50 pounds of clay of this type of Cassius clay, or obsidian clay as I like to call it, and a lot of it started bloating. So I've kind of doctored this one. It might bloat, it might not, we'll find out. But this will be a nice test to see how it comes out on super dark clay if it does survive. So don't be sad if it doesn't survive, but hopefully this will be some really nice raw work if I just leave this nice and raw. Okay, these are our 4 things that what? No, that's nothing, baby. Don't look at that. You want me to show it to you? Okay, fine. I'll show it to you, but promise you won't be mad. Okay, yes, I might have glazed this teapot haphazardly off screen without you, but I only did it to see if our relationship was strong enough for me to glaze off screen with you, baby. I still love you. When I glaze you, I make love to you. Okay, when I glaze things without you, it's only to see if our bond is strong enough. But now that I've done it without you, I know it's wrong, baby. I know it's wrong. I didn't mean to do it off screen without you. Okay, I still love you. Okay, look, I did glaze without you, but I glazed this because it's a gross teapot that I made like a year ago. I hate the angle of the spout. I hate the fact that I got a little bit of wax resist on it, so the handle doesn't really take glaze that well. The bottom of it doesn't have my new mark on it, and I thought I was being super cool when I made like a decorative top for it, but the decorative top just looks like kind of like a shark fin, and it was a really high chance that I was going to destroy this thing, so either I destroy it or I just make it into a test style for an Amaco glaze. I don't want to hear it in the comments below. You guys are always complaining that I throw stuff away, and then the one time that I don't throw something away and I decide to use it for a test style for a video, I'm sure there's gonna be more people complaining, so I don't want to hear it. Okay, we're gonna put all of these in the kiln, and I will see you guys in a couple of days. Although for you, it's probably gonna be like 5-6 seconds because, you know, movie magic. Okay, we just took everything out of the kiln, so let's look at our 2 white bowl test styles first. I am actually very surprised at this color. I don't think I understand. My brain be turned off right now. I see a tiny issue with this glaze, but I'm gonna review the actual glaze first and then we'll talk about the tiny issue. This is actually quite a nice glaze. I don't really see too many issues with it, although it is very satiny. I do agree to it. When you pick up a glaze that promises you the melt satin, this is what it looks like for sure. And of course, we tested it out a second time on the same clay body just to see if it has any type of consistency issues, which I don't think it does. These are the same exact color. There's nothing really wrong with them. These are twins pretty much. And this is a pretty basic color. There's nothing really too textury about it. I will say I did put it on a bowl with a line of texture right here and it got a little bit darker, but I don't know if that's because of the glaze or if it's because of my like human eyeballs who are looking into a small dark space, you know? So I can't really say whether it has texture or not right now. Even when I get close up on it, like it just kind of looks the same, but a tiny bit darker. Okay, let's take a look at our dark clay test style. And granted, I knew this was gonna happen. I think I put a little note up there when I was glazing this pot to tell you guys that I knew this was gonna die. I have a bunch of brown clay that was pretty much a really bad batch, and because of it, most of it came out super bad. But it is still interesting to see this glaze on a super dark clay body. It actually turned the color that I thought it would turn, unlike these bowls over here. I don't think on the bottle it was supposed to be a brown clay body. Usually, glaze companies don't show you a brown clay body on the test style, but it is interesting to see what a dark green this came out as on this clay body. Everything is super dark green, as I kind of expected with this clay body. It's sad too, because I really like this clay body. It's super dark, and I'm super into like the darker colors on clay bodies, but like, I can't, it just kept bloating. Even if I put it at a slow cool, which is the manufacturer of the clay says to do, it still reduces the bubbling, but it doesn't like make it go away. So, guess I'm not buying this clay anymore. You go in the yeet pile! Okay, let's check out the cup with the symbol on it. Sometimes glazes will allow you to see through the symbols, kind of like a Celadon glaze, without actually being a Celadon glaze. And it's true to its word, it's a satin glaze, so it definitely muted the symbol as to what it was before I glazed it. Although we are getting a very consistent color of clay body on all white clays. Every single clay body we've tested this on, we're pretty much getting the same exact color. If you're looking for a satin, this definitely is satin. You know, and the main goal of this one test, this one experiment with this one cup, was to see if you could see through to the symbol. And I definitely can. It just, you know, I wanted to see if like I would get lucky and I could like make it super clear. I didn't. I don't know why I tested it, but I just wanted to see if it had the possibility of doing that. Because then I could be like, haha, not satin enough, are ya? But realistically, it is pretty consistently satin enough. So, I guess I'm wrong. Now let's check out the pot that I pretty much cheated on you with. Just for some type of variation, I put a different color on the Satin Oribe to see if I can make it a little more clear. So I put one of my glazes that has a pretty high amount of silica or crystal in it, and it turned out really nice actually. It made this type of aurora looking blue, and I'm super into it. I mean, the consistency of the Satin Oribe up here is still going strong, but as far as the combination of the glaze goes, I wish I would have tested more. I wish I would have tested like my Ron Roy's High Gloss Black, or my Randy's Red, or something to that extent with this glaze, because I think it would have made an excellent combination. I might make another video, because I do have some of the glaze left in the bottle, but I might make another video testing it out with a bunch of other glazes, because finding a consistent glaze is a valuable thing in the ceramic art world. You should understand that. Even when you buy the pottery books of pottery glazes you can make yourself, that are like 7 tried and true glazes. If you don't know how to mix glazes correctly, some of them come out really bad, or not the color they said they would. But this is really stable. I'm getting this color constantly here, right? There's 2 of these. These are all pretty much the same exact shade of color on 5 different products. I do still hate the top of this teapot. I don't know why I made it. It looks like a shark fin, and I hate it. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to give it to one of my patrons, or like put it on the web store. I don't know. I'm really tempted to throw it away, but every time I throw stuff away, you guys get super mad at me. So let me know in the comments below. Maybe it'll not be sacrificed to the clay lords. Okay, let's move on to the one issue that I have with this glaze. The one issue that I have with this glaze is that we have gotten a satin glaze this entire time. As I have been saying, this is definitely a very satiny glaze. None of these are the color Oribe. Here's my concern with this. When I was a baby ceramic artist, the word Oribe to me was a very old Chinese or Japanese glaze. Somebody correct me in the comments below. But the word Oribe almost always meant green, like some type of clear green of some sort. Okay, that's pretty much what it was. And although it's not clear, I would heavily assume that you're going to give me some sort of green. At least, if you call something Satin Oribe, it would be satin green, right? Even when you go to Google and you type in the words Oribe pottery, these are like the first 5 images that show up. They all have some sort of green in them, right? Oribe in the ceramic artist's mind usually means green. How come none of these are green? Not only are none of these green, I tested multiples of them, like technically 5 different products, okay? And they're all blue. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, please, because I might be green-blue blind and I don't know about it. This would mean almost nothing to me. I would have no issue with this if all of these came out blue and they were like, oh yeah, it's Satin Oribe, but it comes out blue. But even the test tile on the bottle is green and looks nothing like the pottery in which I got. While the test tile on the bottle kind of looks like it's promising me like a satiny grayish green, which I would have been totally cool with. But my one pet peeve that I'm finding with the high majority of glazes that I get, granted, Amoco is really good about it. Like, I usually don't have this happen with Amaco. Amaco has like maybe 1 out of every 20 glazes does this kind of thing to me. But this isn't the color that it looks like it was gonna be. Like, please somebody tell me if I'm the crazy one in the comments below. This looks way more Oribe than this does. All of these just kind of look like satiny sky, satiny blue. So I could rename this glaze and nobody would know. If I was at a table and I was like, oh yeah, it's a satiny sky. But I can't really talk too badly about the glaze because every single product came out consistent. And the only time in which I saw any sort of green was the deep, dark, thick parts of the bowl. I don't know if you can see it, but right there at the very bottom of the bowl, you can kind of see what would be a satiny Oribe. But this, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I do love Amaco, but this, I'm not fond of this color in general. I'm just testing it for you guys who might love this color, because this color heavy reminds me of like a bowl from Walmart. It looks like the same exact color. So not only is it not what I thought the test style was gonna be on the bottle, like it doesn't look anything like it, the only point that I can really give this glaze is that it is indeed satin. Oribe, maybe not Oribe. Consistent? Perfect. Yes. Satin? Perfect. Yes. Oribe? Nah, I don't know. I don't know if it's Oribe by definition. Well, thank you, potters, for joining me today. Hopefully these glaze reviews are helping you guys out. I do videos where I give you glaze recipes if you know how to make your own glazes, but I know the high majority of you just buy your glazes off of a shelf and kind of want to know other people's experience with them. So here we test it on a white, we test the consistency for you, we test it on a brown clay body. I just want you guys to kind of know what you're getting before you buy it. And since Amaco is a sponsor of the channel, thank you very much, Amaco. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I feel kind of bad that I feel like I'm bad mouthing Amaco for saying the glaze doesn't match up, but also I would much rather be honest with my own community and viewership than I would just get money from a company. You know what I mean? I would not be able to sleep as well at night if I did that. Thank you, potters, for joining me today. If you like this type of content or find it helpful with your ceramic art journey, the subscribe button is right down there. I upload once a week. That way you'll never miss an episode. Hopefully you guys have a good time with your next art projects, and I will see you, dirty potters, next week. While I'm recording, I'm technically looking at the camera as my hands are down here, and it just occurred to me that I've been staring at a giant O face the entire time I'm glazing.